Welcome back to another episode of Antique Overland. We'd like to begin by thanking you all for your support regarding our last video. We're really glad you enjoyed it. Please stick around with us as we continue to grow the channel. As you know, our tagline is adventure on and off the pavement. So here goes. Today we're taking a little departure from our regular content to take you with us to the annual Motherlode Model T swap meet in Auburn. We fielded more than a few questions of late as to where we obtain our camping equipment, auto parts, and accessories. So the short answer to that is, well, all over the place. Flea markets, Facebook Marketplace, and pretty much everything in between. As I alluded to once before, all the items used in our videos contribute to various aspects of our understanding of material culture, thereby continuing to contribute to the further study and understanding of a time period through experimental archaeology. Everything we find and put to use had a history all its own, and as you know, we like to highlight some of that in our regular videos. So stick with us as we shop the flea market, and we'll show you some of the things that followed us home. For us, and I suspect anyone else who enjoys the thrill of the hunt, early arrival and digging through piles of parts and other miscellaneous junk at 6:30 in the morning is more exciting than almost anything else. As I mentioned before, we live in a drafty Queen Anne. I've loved everything 19th century for longer than I can figure at this point, and Ethan holds the early 20th just as fondly. Good thing we fit pretty well in some amalgam of the aesthetic period meets Art Nouveau with a touch of craftsman in non-public rooms. We can't help but dig through everything. The stranger the pile of junk, the more covered in a layer of rust, it all just seems to attract us. Unlike most tours around the swap meet, however, we were on the hunt for a few specific items for both the impressions and the cars. We were on the lookout for a couple of Boyko cans to fill out yet another running board rack, a suitable accessory side mirror and speedometer for the Stewed, and a few period tools to fill out another auto toolkit. In the past, we've found everything from fire hose reels to running board ice cream makers, so our hopes were relatively high. The running board picnic set caught our eye as soon as we turned the corner of the aisle, and we just had to go take a look. It was $250 and probably priced well for what it was. It was basically complete except for its thermos, which wasn't there. But it was neat to see it anyway, and while we didn't buy it, it would be a great addition to somebody's impression. The sales and advertising piece for flashlights and this rack were absolutely fantastic. You can't get enough of details like that. We didn't buy the rack or the flashlights, but we did find a flashlight that we'll show you a little bit later. By this point, you'll have noticed either the bag in Ethan's hand or the Boyko canteens that we found and we're hanging on to. So we found a few of the items on our list, and one of the vendors took pity on us and gave us a bag because of it. We'll check back in and show you what we actually brought home with us by the end of the video. There were also some incredible finds if you were looking for a project car, and a couple that weren't projects, like that Ford Model T pickup that you see in the picture. But otherwise, there were some great bikes and cars out there if you were willing to put a little bit of work into it. And it seemed to me that there were more than there normally are, which was kind of interesting to see. So just as I promised, let's have a look at the deals that followed us home, some of which will undoubtedly be the subjects of their own videos in the future. As you already know, the Boyko canteens were on our list from the beginning, and we found the two we needed to complete our set. Then there were a couple of items that I picked up, a filter for the Model A and another really good set of running board clamps. My track record for not paying more than $5 for those still stands. Ethan found a box of miscellaneous parts, which turned out to probably be the deal of the day. We pulled the valve covers out for the Stewed and a couple of period tire gauges. As I mentioned earlier, we did take home a mid to late 1920s Ever-Ready flashlight, and a really neat points adjusting kit. We found a solid box of GE Mazda light bulbs, some Packard jacketed wire to rework some of the lights on the 20, and a Stewart gauge that we had hoped would replace the broken one in the Stewart. Our final find of the day was undoubtedly my favorite, an original Radiator Parade flag set. It's a wonderful World War I armistice piece. The flags are a little worse for wear, but the piece was too unique and historically significant to pass up. I hope we'll see more of it in a future video, but I need to do some research first. Thanks for coming with us to the swap meet. Hopefully it gave you some insight into how we find the items we use to build our impressions and keep our vehicles on the road. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe if you like this or any of our other episodes, and we'll see you next time with another episode of Antique Overland.